Hey guys, here we are for a short track guide of the NASCAR Next Gen car at the updated Indianapolis road course. Now for this track guide, I'm going to show you the lap in full speed, and then going to analyze the lap in slow motion and my approach to each corner. Now before we get to the hot lap, I just wanted to mention the car and track settings that we're using. So for the track, we have air temperature of 78 degrees, track temperature of 117 degrees, and track usage of 37%. Also for the car, we're using a steering rack of 2.64 and a brake bias of 50%. Now that we got all the information out of the way, let's get on to the hot lap. So that was a lap of a 128.75, and now on to the slow motion analysis. So as we're starting our lap here, we're really just trying to get a nice exit out of the final corner. It's really flat, so you're going to be kind of sliding the rears a lot. Just really trying to not be sliding the rears as much as you can. That way you can get up to fourth. And as you're crossing the finish line, just looking far ahead over to the brake markers. You'll be shifting up to fifth, somewhere between the finish line and the brake markers, right around here. And as we get approaching the braking zone, we're looking at the top left of the fence area, and we see the 800 board. We're going to be looking at the 800 and kind of braking at the 750, between the 700 and the 800, getting on the brakes really hard. And see right around here, full 100% compression on the brakes, and really waiting a long time until we're starting to trail off. We're going to downshift from fifth to third early on, and then down to second a bit later. And we're going to keep it in second, starting to trail off around the 150 boards, or even around the 100. We're really trying our best not to hit the inside curb. It can unsell the car. It's a really tall curb, and it bounces the car if you do hit it. Trying to get as close as you can, partial throttle here, and really focusing on bringing the car out as wide as you can to hug this inside curb, getting a nice approach for that. And as we turn in here, partial throttle through here, trying not to upset the rears too much, and you're gonna keep the car in second for this whole section here. So partial throttle through this section, and as you approach here, trying to straight line brake, just going deep out into those curbs, and then trailing off the brake as we turn into the second part, the second right-hander. Partial throttle, just trying to rotate the car through here. And this is a really challenging part of the course, so I'm just going to pause. You can see that we still need to turn over to the left to make it through this chicane, but we're also going to need to upshift to third. You can either choose to early upshift here or kind of upshift in the middle of the chicane. If you upshift late, once you land from hitting that curb, it can really unsell the car in a low gear. So it's really important to upshift to third early on. So you can see I'm shifting up as we approach the first part of the curve, trying to straight line as you hit that curve, since if you hit it sideways, it can bounce you in the wrong way, using up all the excess curve on the left-hand side. And now we're just going to slowly move our car over to the right-hand side of the track down this backstretch here. Looking over to the fence, you can see we have these boards over here. I'm looking at like kind of between the first and the second one. Look, I think that's a 700 board, and this is the 600. So around them, you can see getting on the brakes again, full compression, 100% maximum threshold braking, and we're still waiting down to third gear here, waiting to downshift to second, and there we go down to second gear. Trying not to hit this inside curb as we start to trail off the brake at the apex, and waiting to get back on the gas, partial throttle through here. And the main goal is just trying not to push too hard through this section. You're really focusing on the left-hander, just being able to hit these apexes. If you just miss one, it really puts you out of rhythm through here. So again, partial throttle through the second one, bringing the car to the left-hand side for the final part of these S's, tapping the brakes, turning in early. It's really easy to run out wide and get in the grass here. The curbing starts really late here, so it's really easy to get out wide. So just be cautious on acceleration. And as we're approaching the final sector of the track, turning this right-hander, we can't really take this flat though, so start to get partial throttle as you bring the car over to the left-hand side. You never really have time to make it straight though, but you're really trying to start to brake in a straight line. So you can see around 60%, we're not going to full lock until a bit later, so you don't want to immediately unsettle the car as we're still turning. So again, down to second gear here, really trying to take as much apex speed as you can. There's a lot of actually a lot of curb that we can use out there if necessary, but just trying our best to avoid the inside curb through here, keeping the car in second gear through this whole section, bringing the car over to the right hand side, then tapping the brake. Really easy to not see this apex curve. It's just kind of a blind corner as you're bringing yourself over to the right. So again, tires are really warm at this stage, and as you're going through this final corner, partial throttle again, waiting to upshift to third. And there we go. The car just gonna keep sliding over to the left as there's just really no banking to support the car. We're gonna be using all the track, trying not to get on the grass or even in the walls to get back to full gas. Coming over to the line, and that's a lap around the Indianapolis road course. So now I'm just gonna play that lap one more time in full speed from chase view, just that way you can see the line a bit more easily. So that was the track guide for the Indianapolis road course. Just some tips around this track. There's a lot of long straightaways into tight braking zones, really easy to lock up the tires or overshoot the braking zones. However, a lot of these areas, especially the first corner and the corner on the backstretch as you at the end of the backstretch, are just so unforgiving. They go into this like pit of grass, and the penalties that you get from just going through the grass are really brutal. So I'd say the main key is just avoiding these huge curbs, get really install the car, and try your best to avoid overshooting these corners. Obviously easier said than done, but if you can manage to do that, just keep the car on the track. I would say that you'd have a really good shot at getting a good result here. So thanks again for watching. Hopefully this track guide was helpful, and see you guys next time.